I mean, as it relates to Jules, we've had, clubs poking around for some time, including in the last window, I think it was, or last year, as you mentioned, Barcelona, kind of late in a window, came into the equation, was just asking about Jules and what possibilities existed, which was kind of the same thing that happened this time. It was pretty late in the window where it came about again, and yeah, seeking his services. And this time, things sort of picked up pace heavily there at the end, and so things kind of came together within the last, say, 3 days or so of the window, which was there was a negotiation there, of course, with all of these things. It wasn't just something that happens overnight. It went from one version of a move to another version of a move, and so as that process played out, you have a kid that's obviously blown away by the opportunity to go play at a club like Barcelona as well, who's excited, whose goal was at some point in his career to go play in Europe, and to have an opportunity to go to Barcelona obviously was exciting for Jules. So he was in the middle of the negotiation as well, just not actually negotiating, but emotionally he was in the negotiation, right? And so there was just a lot going on in the final hours of things, of which everything pulled together. The unfortunate part, as everyone knows then, is when the registration came down. My understanding is that the file was quite large that they had to enter, and I'm not sure if the computer system handles a file that large. It had nothing to do with us or necessarily them. I think it was the nature of what was happening. And there ended up being a little bit of a hiccup in the process because of the density, if you will, of the file, and it's why it ended up a little bit late. Once that happened, then there was the recourses to petition there. There's still a petition, if you will, to FIFA, the FIFA court, to review an appeal, I guess is better said. And in the meantime, Jules wanted to play games. He doesn't want to ideally sit around for the next 5 months. So then there was an exploration by everybody involved with what that might look like. And the reality of the situation is it's complicated because the transfer happened, but the registration didn't happen. So it was a really complicated situation. In the end, everybody involved decided, what was best for Julian was to get over to Barcelona, start to get settled in, to start training, start to adapt to the environment, and start to make his way over there. And for us, we were involved in that decision too, which provides us with clarity and timeline and the resources to move forward and add player or players to our team due to the resources that we received from Julian's transfer.
When was your last conversation with him throughout the process, and how do you think he was handling everything? Because I assume it was difficult for him to be here, but knowing that this club here wants him, but he's still at home, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think he went through every emotion there was through the process, from being flattered and excited that a club like Barcelona wants you, to the possibility that a deal isn't going to be in place because the original deal was one that wasn't going to happen, to a negotiation that then gets to the other side where now you are going to go. And then life, I've been in this situation, not to Barcelona, but then life hits you in the face that you have to move, and everything that you have set in his life here has to be dealt with, and whether it's family or pets or everything that you have to start figuring out, okay, how am I going to manage all of this stuff and deal with it? That hit him at one point in our discussion. He's like, oh my gosh, I got to figure out all these things. And then obviously the registration not going through came after that. So then there's that emotion where he went through upset, and it was difficult, to I want to play games. Is there a way to stay and play games? So again, he went through every emotion. The last one, he got to the point, I think, where he was like, I just need to go, and I need clarity, and I need to go to get my career back moving, because right now I've been frozen for the last week and a half to 2 weeks. And so he wanted to get off of his couch and personal training plan and get into an environment where he can continue to get better and move forward. And so that's where his head was at, and I think within a day or two, he was on a plane and in Barcelona, and I think he was at the game this weekend, from what I understand. So I think it's good for him. I mean, this is a big move to a club like Barcelona, and he has the opportunity, even though it's not ideal, maybe if he doesn't get games, he has the opportunity to get settled in, to do some of the things that aren't easy to do when you're trying to jump to a club like Barcelona. He'll have a little time without the pressure of performance to start to integrate into the group, start to find places to live, things like that. So there's a lot to be done. As a young guy, I don't know if you quite understand all of those things until you go through them, and the jump in just level and expectation and pressure and all those things are gonna come too. So he'll be able to mitigate some of that with this window of time that he can adapt and adjust there.